Sorry for locking you in the office earlier, but we filmed everything for you.
To make it up to you, we'll take you to the top of Jones. We've been like 100 times. Come on.
Did you know downtown has 8 districts? We're in the North Core. It used to be the church district. Everything the light touches is our district. I'm sorry I called you creepy and ran away. You're not that creepy. Still friends? Cool. Oh. Andy, thank God you called. Ava and Danielle locked me inside of Jones.
Yeah, I know. I told them to.
Face your fears, dude. Come on, get up to the top floor and give me a shout.
How many times have you been upstairs?
Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't go up there.
We're building a city.
That's me, Justin Senna. I'm a TV producer. When I got to Jacksonville a little over a year ago, we hit the ground running. We started documenting the projects, the process, the progress, and the people that are making it happen.
So let's go jump into some projects. We'll learn more along the way. Well, since we're here, let's talk about Jones.
Jones Brothers, our longest standing development. 6 years in the making, and it's probably one of our most complicated, being a very unique development in wrapping new construction around a historic building.
The North Core, which used to be the church district, is now turning into this vibrant urban destination of multifamily, historic. The NoCo Center has happened. The Emerald Trail has been funded. There's a lot of good things that have kind of happened in itself to where this project makes a ton of sense.
Right now, though, the buildings that are being revitalized in the North Core are leading the way because you've got so many buildings coming back online at one time.
In the downtown market, what really is necessary is the development of mixed-use projects that allow for residential housing, retail environments, restaurants, bars. Those environments begin the process of creating a critical mass where it's self-fulfilling.
And that's where the renaissance of downtown Jacksonville is getting its start right now, right here in the North Core.
The transformation of Jones Brothers is just one piece of the puzzle in revitalizing downtown Jacksonville. The creation of the North Core has been instrumental in attracting investments and fostering economic growth. But how do initiatives like these come to life? Incentives. Incentives play a vital role in incentivizing developers and businesses to invest in downtown revitalization projects.
From an incentive perspective, most of our incentives are generated by the new development themselves. If you think of them in terms of rebates of new taxes that are generated by the new development, that if that development didn't come, you wouldn't have it all. And it's only a portion of the tax that's rebated. So when you hear it as a rev grant, and there's some large dollar figure associated with it, generally that is new revenue generated for the city by the development itself.
When we get these rev grants approved, it's usually a big headline. City awards developer $25 million for said project. What they don't tell everybody is how that money is created. It's not coming out of the taxpayers' pockets. And that is a common misconception. The developer doesn't receive any of that money until they've completed the project. And the money comes back to the developer in the form of a property tax rebate.
By reducing costs and mitigating risks, incentives encourage private entities to take these ambitious ventures, ultimately shaping the city's landscape.
Now there are some exceptions, and some of the exceptions are the historic renovation projects. Old properties take a lot of maintenance and are costly to repair and restore. And what happens is it just doesn't make economic sense to take an old building and restore it, and the rents you'll get later don't warrant the cost you have to put in and the investment you have to make. The historic projects that require those, what we call downtown preservation and revitalization grants, do require some contribution from city general fund. Nobody was applying for it, and none of the buildings were being restored. So we had building after building of historic fabric that was continuing to deteriorate. And it just wasn't economically viable for anyone to purchase those and renovate them. We created the new program, and the new program was all about trying to bridge that gap between what it costs when you buy the building the construction costs to renovate it, and then ultimately your loan costs to do that work, and the rents you'll be able to receive once the building is finished. And these are completion grants. The city's not at risk. They only get paid out once the developer has completed the project.
Florida became the destination for almost every real estate developer in the United States. The Great Florida Land Boom of the 1920s created a surge of growth. By 1921, 22, 23, you're starting to see new construction in downtown Jacksonville, which had been absent for the previous 8 years. Downtown Jacksonville's waterfront was pretty much already filled out, so the new buildings started to infill away from the river. This area along Church Street and Hogan Street, where we are today, suddenly became a focus of development.
If you look at the history of downtown Jacksonville, it is about that time period of the 80s when retail left the downtown core and started moving out to the suburbs with the malls and those types of things. You'll see that a lot of the buildings in downtown have been abandoned since the 80s.
Hello?
You're kind of like my Wilson from Castaway, but instead of a raft, we're in creepy Jones Brothers.
Hello? Hello?
Did you just say something? Oh. Brooke! I'm so excited to see you. Ava and Danielle locked me in the building.
Yeah, Andy sent me to come find you.
Got me.
I think part of the beauty is that there are so many opportunities with the historic structures to have adaptive reuse that complement and blend with the new construction to be.
Jones Brothers has the historic renovation aspect as well as the new construction. Two different architects blending two design styles and philosophies.
My name's Brooke Robbins. I'm the principal architect with Robbins Design Studio, and I'm the architect of record for the historic renovation of the Jones Brothers Furniture Building.
I'm Bruce Werner, principal architect with Bold Line Design. The Jones on Hogan is a 7-story mixed-use building. It's got retail and commercial space on the ground floor, as well as some parking to serve that. It has 6 stories of residential space on the upper floors. Brooke Robbins and her team is working on the adaptive reuse of the Jones Brothers Furniture Building, which is this building here, and our team at Bold Line Design is working on all the new construction that actually wraps around that and helps to make that project more viable. So you can actually see the corner of the building here. It's exciting to think about all the pedestrians that are going to be walking by, the shaded canopies, the planting, the transparent commercial facades, and all of the shifting windows that are going to go up 7 stories tall. And the Emerald Trail is going to be right over there, where people are going to be biking by. They can go right up the elevator to the elevated courtyard. With the Jones Brother Furniture sign glowing at night, it should be a pretty spectacular spot to really appreciate the history of the city.
Today we're here to talk about the Jones Brothers. If you're ready, we'll head upstairs and we will start at the top and work our way down. So, are you coming?
I'm coming.
The Jones Brothers Furniture Building was built in 1926, and it was a furniture building up until the early 80s. We are converting it to a mixed-use building that will be comprised of co-work space, building amenities, and then 2 through 7 will be 29 1- and 2-bedroom apartments. The idea with this building is to provide these apartments as furnished. Because it is a historic building, the spaces are a little bit smaller, they're unusual size. Moving furniture in and out is going to be tricky. The owners have decided to furnish it, which Industry West will be providing that furniture.
Industry West has had a big part in helping us with that vision. They have a great eye to bring new and old together to create something unique and warm feeling, but very modern.
Dude.
When people first come in, they're like, oh, we're gonna have exposed brick in all of the apartments. And that's not the case. There are rules and regulations for what we can and cannot do. So on this floor, historically, this was plaster over the brick. Even though we have some areas with exposed brick, we will have to replace that with the current counterpart to plaster, which is drywall. Where on the upper floors, 6 and 7, historically those were the workshop where they made the furniture, and it had exposed brick. So on those floors, we are able to leave the brick exposed within the apartments.
There is a historic process that we have to go through, getting approval from not just the City of Jacksonville Historic Department, but the State Historic Preservation Office and the National Park Service.
So the standards that are used were actually created by the National Park Service, and they're called rehabilitation standards. Their purpose is to protect the historic aspects of the building that give it its significance, while allowing improvements to keep it in a state of use or return it to a state of use.
Here we go.
Going to 7, top floor. Oh, looks like there's an 8.
What I have seen in the last 2 or 3 years is multiple organizations taking a really active interest in seeing downtown become successful, as well as multiple developers, both local and out of state. We're getting noticed, and others outside of the region are deciding that Jacksonville downtown is a place to invest, because it is really showing that that momentum is coming together again.
So we've made it to the top floor, and we found a very nefarious looking ladder. What do you do when you find sketchy ladders? Climb them. Oh my God. Wow.
Oh my God, you can see everything from here.
Talking about this since episode 1, we finally made it to the roof. In order to capture this moment properly, we had to bring in the crew. Miguel, who's from Rip Visuals on Instagram, and of course Bubba from Fun to Watch. Hopefully we'll capture this and show you guys what we're seeing up here, because it was totally worth it, totally worth it. Whit, cue the B-roll.
Been at it already, had my tarot read. Things are looking up for me, that's what my tarot said. Been pumping out pheromones and wearing red. Young Jerry Lolliver king, but they're not aware of it. $40 to show money, that's what they stole from me. Blow it all bowling, guess I roll funny. Go find me a snow bunny, ask if this cold world's making her nose runny. She melted, I wear a cape that is velvet. Couldn't see it, she felt it. See it all like I'm Elvis, move my hips like I'm Elvis. I don't pitch it, I sell it. Couldn't picture me jealous, turning fans into zealots. Tuning in when I tell it. There were 15 people at the gig, saying, oh my God, what fun this is.